Hello, everybody. Ben Joravsky here. We're calling this Donnie Day Monday, and here's why. Well, every day is Donnie Day in the United States of America because you Americans decided it was a good idea to elect that guy as your president. Heck of a job, America. Seriously, heck of a job. I always have to remind you that I'm so scared about a black woman. I think, like this demented lunatic. I'll see what happens now. Great job, America. Great job. Antonio Correa standing by. He's our resident military affairs expert, a title that I bequeathed to him about 7 years ago. I want to say, God, has it been that long? 8 years. Yeah. Good God. Yeah. Man. Oh, Lord, I'm getting old. But not Antonio. He still looks young. When back in the old days when I had a radio show at WCPT, Antonio would come on and we would talk all kinds of Marine issues and military issues and veteran issues, and it was funny because he's to the left of me, which I didn't think was possible on some issues. Okay, and I didn't realize anyone was to the left of me, but especially not a vet. Okay, like, are you sure? Did you fall on your head? I mean, what the heck? I never met a vet to the left of me. Actually, that's not true. Barry Romo, may he rest in peace, was to the left of me. Charles Henderson, I see you out there. You're kind of, sort of, sometimes to the left of me. We'll be talking about Trump's grand. That's why I call it Donnie Day. He threw a party for himself, like a complete buffoon that he is. Sorry, America, to degrade your president that you thought was a good idea to be elected. I want to get us started with us, do a little riff, and then I'll bring Antonio on. And Antonio hasn't really heard this riff. I haven't shared it with anybody, so let's see as it unfolds, how it unfolds. I was driving in my car. I forget what day it was, maybe Saturday, who knows. Friday. It was Friday because I was coming home from a friend's house having watched a basketball game. As a boomer, I was listening to the radio. Yes, I still listen to a radio when I'm in a car. I think I told Antonio this. He made fun of me when I said that. I was listening to the classic rock station. Classic rock. We're going to play a little Foghat. We're going to kick it off with a little Tom Petty. I love Petty. I love the way they talk in classic rock. Oh, Lord. So I'm listening to it, and all of a sudden, Kristi Noem comes on, Homeland Security, and she's like reading pure propaganda. Unbelievable. Just no attempt to disguise propaganda about how we must thank Donnie Trump, President Trump. We must thank him for how he's saving us from what? What is he saving us from? Hordes of immigrants who are pouring into our country. And then she starts off by talking about, I think it was 2 or 3 murders that immigrants who are undocumented allegedly committed. And I mean, I'm sure each murder was horrific, but that's not the point at the moment. It's like you could do a public radio announcement on anybody for the murder. It's like, you think of all the undocumented citizens in this country, there's millions of them, if you believe Donnie, and I think there were 3 guys that did murders. And you're talking about them like it's a significant number and it's a significant threat. And I'm thinking, oh no, Americans can't fall for this. Americans are too sophisticated, too smart, and too educated. They're not going to just say, oh, you're going to take one murder that happened 5 years ago and use it to like tarnish the reputations of millions and millions of people. And yes, that's what she did. And so she said that in order to keep murderers like that out of the country, we have to kick all immigrants out of the country. And in order to protect us from the response, we have to send National Guard to our streets. Because when people protest this completely unfair deportation, which is supposedly a way of solving a problem that doesn't even exist, Americans, there is no crisis at the border. There is no crisis in our country. Immigrants are far from a threat. They're a positive force. You all know that. So in order to correct a problem that doesn't exist, we have to create a new problem, which is military in our streets. And she says this as though it's the actual truth. And she says, you must thank President Trump. And when she says his name, it's almost like she's speaking. You can't even say like a founding father, beyond founding father. I'm like, oh my God, this is just unvarnished propaganda in between. Kick it off with 10 in a row from Foghat. We are just so. And I'm like, are any of my baby boomers, my fellow baby boomers who love Foghat or Tom Petty or whoever else they play on 97.1, whoever else on the beat? Every now and then they play the Beatles. God bless the Beatles. I can't believe they're fooled by it. But you know, the older people get, the kind of softer their brains can get. So I could see some old geezer going, "Oh, Ben, it's scary. It's very scary." Oh my God, it was embarrassing. And this was on the eve of Donnie's parade. Trying to justify the little party he threw for himself. I think, well, this is perfect timing for Antonio coming on the show because it brings together all the issues we always talk about. How vets are sort of manipulated. Our love for flag is manipulated. And our fear of people who don't look like us, another one of our favorite topics, is manipulated. And just like the propaganda, brainwashing of America, an ongoing process. In between, we're going to start it off with a little Foghat. Anyway, so before we bring on Foghat, I'm bringing on Antonio Correa. Welcome back, Antonio.
Thanks for having me back, Ben.
Yes. So first of all, have you heard that commercial?
I have heard the commercial, and it just, like instinctively, Ben, whenever I hear it, my instinct is to just shut it off or change the channel or station or whatever, just click on skip, just so they don't get the numbers. That's my instinct, because I know it's BS right away. It's just the right has this uncanny ability to like cherry pick one little instance that happens and blow it up to make it seem like it's a ongoing problem. And yet when it comes to any of these shootings that occur, that are done by mainly white people, that we can't do anything about that. We have to do hopes, prayers, whatever else they say, that is all that we can do. We can't pass any laws to change anything. And but when it comes to immigrants, brown people, minorities, whatever, they can cherry pick one individual that did one heinous crime, because of course a crime is a crime. Like I am, for justice for the victims of these crimes, but to vilify a whole community, a whole group of people on the basis of one person's actions is just, and it's unbelievable that people believe, they fall into this trap all the time, every single time.
Yeah. Is there any part of you that thinks that we have a serious crisis at the border?
No, I mean, no. Quite the contrary. I think that Biden was, could it be better? Yes, of course it could be better. Anything could always be better. Was there a crisis? No, there was not a crisis. Were there individuals that were, committing crimes? Sure. But that's the case overwhelmingly, U.S. citizens, Americans, commit more crimes than any immigrants do, okay, or any community of immigrants or anything like that. And I would like to see, because they picked for the hearing that they had last week, they had posters behind what the hell, Comer, was it Representative Comer or Senator Representative
Congressman? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they had posters of all these individuals that had committed, crimes, whether it was DUIs or whatever it was, drunken driving and or killings or rapings or whatever, and had about 7 individuals up there. I personally know that when it comes to drunk driving incidents, that there have been situations where uh, there have been police officers who have been driving drunk and caused accidents. And this was before police started wearing body cams. They would be let go. They would seal the scene, try to cover up for the officer, and then make it seem like nothing ever happened. I know of several instances where that happened personally. Um, there are other, people and nobody says anything about that. Nobody talks about it. Nobody, because God forbid we say anything about our police officers that, when they commit a crime or do something bad, you know, God forbid we say anything about it or speak up on it. They turn around and try to vilify the person who's trying to, bring it forward instead of, going after the person who's committing the crime. But in this instance with the immigrants, because, everybody on the right can collectively gather around, vilifying this group of individuals to, separate us. That's all they're doing, is trying to separate us so that we have a less of a chance of fighting against, the fascism, the
Authoritarian. I got
thank you. You know, and it's just, the fact that we fall for it every single time.
Well,
Latinos and other minorities fell for this with Trump is just unbelievable to me.
oh my God, that there's a comedian on Instagram. I think he's Nigerian. He's hilarious. This dude has so many accents that he can do. Godfrey is his first name. I forget his last name. He's from Chicago. He's hilarious because he is just he's been really coming down hard on the Hispanic community that voted for Trump, and he does all these different accents. So like Cuban accents, Mexican accents, and then I mean it's painful, the reality of Hispanic people who voted for. I think we must have talked about this last time in this show. Who voted for Trump? Most likely because they just could not bring themselves to vote for a black woman, and then they cooked up some excuse to justify it, and voted for Trump, and now are surprised or shocked or upset by what Trump is doing. I try, Antonio. I'm not very effective at this, but I do try to show a little compassion for people while they made a mistake. But when it comes to that, when it comes to voters, that's not a strong suit of mine.
Well, and not only that, Ben, but they're on. I try to do the same thing. Like just admit you made a mistake. Just admit that you messed up. You put your faith in somebody, and they turned on you. But instead of admitting that, they double down. They double down, and they say no. Wait, just wait. The best is yet to come. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And so a lot of these people that I see, friends, family members that voted for Trump. I mean, they get caught in by one or two points that he made. The overtime tax, the housing, or whatever he said he was going to give for housing or something like that, or would give money for people to buy a house or something like that, which Kamala also said. I mean, but for whatever reason, it didn't work for her.
I wonder why.
And they just will not admit it. And I tell her, so you having any buyer's remorse now? And like, nope. And to me, I feel like there's not only the fact that they wouldn't vote for a black woman, but I think there's also like a little bit of like just pure hatred towards individuals, because what Donald Trump is doing is inhumane on so many levels, so many levels. I mean, disappearing people off the streets with masked men in all this, protective gear and everything, and no badges. And the only thing that defines anything, who they are, is maybe they might have a vest on that says police on it, but that's about it. They don't identify themselves, and they pick you up off the street and disappear you. And those are things that dictators do. Those are things that the cartel does. Those are things that all these other groups that we see as, evil or bad, or, that's what they do. And now this is what
Yeah.
this guy is doing.